Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nathan Leslie, as you may know, and today I'd like to read a story from A Fly in the Ointment, my new collection of short stories from Apprentice House, just out this year in 2023. It's kind of a rainy day in the end of June here, and a perfect day for reading a story called Rocks, which is well, there are a number of stories from this collection which kind of revolve around, I guess you would say, snake oil salesmen or something of that sort. So this is one of the stories within that theme called Rocks. We're in the scrub. That's what McGee calls it. McGee's prosthetic clicks on the stibnite, the orthoclase. We're manning the booth, if you can call it a booth. Druids come and go, children of flower children. In the scrub, everything is hybridized: cars, tents, contact lenses. It will rain someday, and when it does, it won't be purple. We foster belief. We sell hope to hopers. They come, buy our Brazilianite and Morganite and typed instructions for healing. This before or after the Reiki sessions. This before or after the happy pills. We're only there for one reason. Don't go inside, I tell myself. I'm my own guru. My shit life has me kicked. I have about zero confidence at this point. Want to straighten the ship. They come, they buy. Shaved heads, loose puce gowns, pot-belly pigs in cribs, rolling their own dope. They are inside a state of being. At night, we roll down the windows, listen to the bongo sessions. Even in the airtight cabana on wheels, we can smell the pinyon and mesquite burning, and the more fragrant smoke. We can hear the chanting. Jasmine sleeps with her fingers in her ear holes. If she had her way, she'd be out there amongst them. These Gotham children won't question. It goes against the whole spirit. McGee closed his eyes. He does this to think like a computer's whirring. Tapped a cold finger against his forehead twice. I've never been so far from the ocean, he said. McGee has a sea fetish. Says it's the only thing which can rejuvenate. What we'll do is take the way you see the salt water, transfer that to rock, make a buck. We were 20 large in the red, house foreclosed, running out of ways to shuffle dough from one piece of plastic to the other, American way. The cabana was our way of consolidating, still is. At the rock pit, we lug milk crates, we lug burlap sacks, we lug shoe boxes, all quartz, McGee said. He should know. He took the introduction to geology class at the community college. He's the smart one. He's got the pedal to the metal. I'm just along for the ride, which is why I call him Fingers. It's not about his prosthetic. He's got his paw in the maw. Me, I'm trying to see them all, get past my cloudiness. But back to the quartz. It was a find. Different colors, stripes. Who would know? Who would care? We were in Clark County Tuesday morning. The park officials were sleeping in, fishing, drinking their morning joe, whatever it is they do. Victimless, I said. McGee clicked. We gathered, even Jasmine. She drove us off, quartz clacking behind us. The extra drag mileage would be worth it, I told him. You think too much, I said. He didn't like it when I judged. McGee said judgment is the essence of despair. He may or may not be right about that. He raised his eyebrows. Problem was, McGee never held a real job. Laundromat operator, stock boy, bus boy, garden center associate. How we ever owned a house in the first place is a miracle beyond me. Well, I was assistant manager at Great Reads, used books. Then they went under. Fingers was always coming in, using my quarter off discount. Never graduated high school, but somehow he managed to read Santayana, Finite and Infinite Games, The Critique of Pure Reason. He doesn't talk about his best years on the water. Living on the dinghy was by choice, he says. His skin, still tastes of salt and brine. Living on the dinghy was his way of being homeless, I think, the uncounted homeless, boat people. Jasmine is his. Boat people include boat women, apparently, or mermaids. She has long, bushy eyebrows. I count her as mine anyway, sweet thing. McGee's conscience is bothering him, he says, which is why he's up and thumping around, nursing a plastic cup of skim milk, chewing on pretzels. Wakes me up too. Jasmine sleeps in the cab, so she's probably okay. I don't know, he says. What if somebody calls us on it? He's not looking at me. He's folding up the pretzel bag, sourdough. We've already unloaded how many? Maybe a third, he says. We're on the way, I say. He mumbles something about no harm in calling it quits, giving the rest away, no skin off our backs. This would be fine if it weren't for the bloodsuckers, I tell him. We can't be so choosy now. He shrugs and pulls at his hair, says it's an anti-baldness preventative. Sounds equally suspect about that. Rocks. His bag of rocks is opaque. He can likely relate to the festival goers in search of their inner dharma. I don't even know how old he is for sure, not 100%. I see flecks of gray in his stubble, though. I'm not blind. We have them labeled uraninite, nicoline, purpurite, diaspore. They're in boxes. We've typed up healing powers on small slips of paper used at Kinko's back in Lewistown. We saw a bunch of them. For days, the hippies snapped them up, juggling rocks in their hands. 2 mornings later, I'm drinking guava juice, nibbling on wheat toast. Jasmine is just rubbing her eyes. A guy in a leather jacket thumbs through our selection. After 10 seconds, he snorts. Who are we fooling here, he says. You all should be locked up is what I think. What? I say. Yeah, he says. He picks up a rock in the Sand Indian box, holds it out flat in his palm. Yeah, I teach science in a middle school. I don't know much about geology. I do know, however, that this is quartz. All this, he says. Pretty basic. I'm looking out over the scrub. It's ugly land, really. Gray and brown, no mountains, no real vegetation, no color. So much for the serene beauty of the desert. I'm glad McGee is inside. I'm going to eat crow. Might as well do it without embarrassment. You don't want to do that, I say. The man is shouting that we're crooks, scam artists. Not even scam artists, just scammers. He's going tent to tent, waking them up. Jasmine and me, we look at each other. We don't even pack up the rocks. We just fold up the canopy, peel off, play it safe. Jasmine's driving. I'm in the passenger seat, chin in hand, watching the brown scrub turn scrubbier. I'm wondering how I arrived at this point. I'm watching dry lightning flash some 50 miles off. When Bill left me, I understood it wasn't working out, or that's the story we agreed upon. I wonder where Catherine might be at this point, what became of the split level under the maples, the oak bed frame, the photo albums, all of it. McGee claps his prosthetic on the vinyl seat, pulls himself up front. He sits in the middle. He'll never gloat. He knows. There's nothing to say. We're all picking up our own pieces. Where are we headed? Jasmine hits the spray, then the wipers. The windshield is gummy with dust. South and west, she says. He closes his eyes. He's probably thinking of the Gulf. I don't know. We won't make it that far south, I think. Hope not. Thank you.